Alrighty, welcome back to the CG Racing YouTube channel. I hope you guys can hear me over the wind noise because it's quite windy here in Kennesaw today for some odd reason. But today we're going to be going over my interior mod reviews. Now there's only 3 of them, which is my paddle extensions, my billet aluminum shift knob, and then my Clark Plaid shift boot. I'm going to be going over all 3 of those today, so let's get into it. Alright, so here I have the shift boot from Euroverse Designs. I got them off Etsy for about $50. And I love the way that it looks, and I get tons of compliments on it, on how it matches with the Clark Plaid seats, because it is the exact same fabric that can be seen in the Corbeau RRX Sportline seats that use the same Clark Plaid. I had a little bit of trouble on install. I saw a lot of people when changing out the shift boot on this car, because you have to pull an additional piece right here. There's a little plastic piece that it's hooked onto. OEM, it is stapled on, so you got to remove those staples. I read on a bunch of forums that super glue was the best way to do it, and the issue I had was that the super glue seeped into the fabric and then wouldn't stick to the plastic that it was initially stapled to. So I went with 3M VHB double-sided tape. I went with that, and I put strip on each side, and it has held great since then. Really no issues. Alrighty, so next up we have these metal paddles right here. I got these for about $15 off Amazon. I know that there are some companies that make $200 sets of these, but I really didn't see the need to have $200 set of paddle shifters when $20 off Amazon would do just fine. The standard stock ones were a little about this big, pieces of plastic, and you had couldn't hit it when you were turning the wheel up here, so I got some extensions up here. The one gripe I have about them is that they're metal, and I live in Atlanta, so in the summer when it gets hot, they get hot, and when it gets cold, they get cold. That goes with my shift knob as well, that being aluminum. That's just kind of my error from not, I bought metal stuff when I'm in Atlanta, so that's just kind of how that goes. There's a little bit of fading right here, but other than that, they've been great. And the sound as well is just too good. So I think that's going to be it for these. Alrighty, and the final mod that we have today is going to be my Leo Billet DSG shift knob. Now, I don't have a manual, so some may say that the shift knob and shift boot really weren't needed, but I really didn't like the feel of the OEM shift knob in my hand, even if I was sitting there driving it or just pulling it back. And I can do the bump shift with these. I can, even though I use the paddles the majority of the time, I still wanted something that felt different than the OEM one. It sat better in my hand, and this one just really met those needs. Like the paddle shifters, it is metal, so in the summer when it gets hot outside, this is also hot, and when it gets cold outside, it is also cold. So that's just something to keep in mind. If I was to go back and do this, I probably wouldn't do it with a metal shift knob. I would probably go for the Black Forest Industries one. That's the leather one, but you live and you learn. Right now, I think this looks really good. It really complements the Clark Plaid shift boot. I do have a reverse lockout, so I just pull this up right here, and then it pulls it out of park and into the reverse, and no issues with that so far. Install was super simple. I can take the whole thing off right now. It just unscrews like that. One spring. Whoop, that's not good. One spring and a little pin that goes through the reverse lockout that actuates this. But it was like 2 set screws and a clip that I had to remove from the OEM one, and new one dropped right on. They did give me another one of these little coin discs up here that you put in them that said "Take Over" in the Leo font, but I like the Leo font and the branding right there. So that's going to be it for my mod review today. Future plans, I would like to get the matching Clark Plaid shift boot and black billet aluminum handbrake cover. I would like to get those so they all match up with the shift knob and shift boot. I think I'd also like to go for the P3 multi-gauge that goes in the vent, digital display. I don't know if anybody's seen those. Those are pretty cool. As always, if you like, don't forget to comment down below, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.